The Last of Us is proving to be another major success for HBO, and for now it looks like the network can do nothing wrong. With every new episode, it is clear that the show is faithful to the source material, and the cast is working double time to bring the show to life on the silver screen. But what exactly are the reviewers saying about this adaptation? If you'd like to know what works, stick around to find out why you should stream the show immediately. To begin with, The Last of Us started with great reviews.
I used to take it all the time.
Okay.
It was fine.
Awesome.
The Last of Us is HBO's newest flagship drama series, and as most fans already know, it's based on the popular video game series of the same name. The show follows a man named Joel, played by Pedro Pascal, who lives in a dystopian world where a virus outbreak has caused mayhem and crumbled human civilization. In the midst of it all, he's trying his best to survive, but is tasked with taking a young girl named Ellie across the US because she's the key to saving humanity from the fungi that have turned people into zombies. Now that you know what it's about, let's get to how it's being talked about. The Last of Us is already a huge hit, and more people think it could be HBO's next major success. The first episode, which was just over 80 minutes long, has already received praise from fans of the video game and newbies too. And that's a very good sign. You know how hard it is to please all kinds of fans. We started at Rotten Tomatoes, which is one of the best places to get a general idea of how good a show is. On their site, the tomato meter shows the average percentage of reviews from critics, and the audience score shows the average percentage of reviews from the audience. On the tomato meter, the first episode got a score of 99% from all critics, and the audience gave it a score of 96%. What else could be a better sign that this first episode was a hit? Both the audiences and the critics agree that the show is off to a wonderful start. And let us repeat ourselves, that is very rare. This is just another indication that the show has a lot of exciting moments set up for the rest of the series. And what's probably the best part about the adaptation is that it makes you feel just the way the game did. The Last of Us brings the game to life perfectly.
Whoa.
Yeah, looks different in the daylight, huh?
The Guardian is another reliable source where you can find reviews, and according to them, The Last of Us is one of the best TV shows you will see this year. Rebecca Nicholson stated that the relationship between the characters played by Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey brings soul to a fantasy show, which is a real achievement. A 5-star rating from The Guardian is a clear indication of how well a TV episode performed. The New York Times is one of the most well-known news sources. James Paniwazik wrote that while the show hasn't reinvented the genre, they have somehow added life to a story about the dead. That sounds like a wonderful compliment to us. Paniwazik also mentioned how well crafted the world building and graphics are, and makes an excellent point about how the zombie apocalypse genre can become stale, but that this series makes it feel fresh. But there's one other reason why audiences are struck by the show, and it has to do with the cast. The standout performances take the show to the next level.
This is your chance. You get her there. You keep her alive.
The promising series premiere was also discussed by Variety, and in their review of The Last of Us, written by Daniel Daddario, they state that Pedro Pascal's performance as Joel and Ramsey Campbell's performance as Elle, along with some strong writing, has made their already beloved dynamic even more emotional and full of life.
I've never been in the woods.
Pascal has already proven himself on multiple occasions, and in various major franchises, he wins hearts quickly and fits characters like Oberyn or like Din Djarin from The Mandalorian. And now as the traumatized father Joel, we expected nothing less from him. Then there's Bella, who first won hearts as the young, bold, and brave Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones. She's also recently appeared in a period drama alongside Andrew Scott, where she proved she's got the range, and she's doing it again in The Last of Us. The Hollywood Reporter's Daniel Feinberg reviewed the show and stated that the adaptation was easily one of the best of any video game, and that includes both the big screen and small screen. In the end, he too believed that the series has done some wonderful work and that The Last of Us is definitely worth your time. Not to mention, Rolling Stone got in on the reviews too and called the series HBO's next big hit, which is quite the compliment. In the review written by Alan Sepinwall, he revealed that the first episode made him realize that The Last of Us is just as good in its quiet moments as it is in its scary ones, which he credited once again to the brilliant actress. Based on reviews like these from Rolling Stone and other major media outlets, The Last of Us is undoubtedly worth a watch for any gaming enthusiast or those simply seeking a true thrill. But if you've played the game and are worried the show is a scene-for-scene remake, calm down, that's not the case. The Last of Us isn't exactly the same as the game, and that's a good thing. Changing a well-known story from one form to another is not easy. Sure, some parts of the story will have to be adjusted to fit no matter what, because while some things may work in the game, they might not work in the series. And does it really make sense to tell a story that is beat for beat the same as the game? Thankfully, the cast and crew did a great job with the first episode and hit the important parts of the story while changing things up enough to surprise fans of the game and, at least in some places, make the story work better. The first thing you see is a scene from a talk show from the 1960s. There's a new twist right away. There's a slight nod to climate change too. The show states that without global warming, it wouldn't have been able to hurt us, so props to humanity. But some changes actually make much more sense. New changes have helped build the world better and offer more meat to side characters. While the show has made many deviations from the game, some work really well. Many of the fans believe that HBO and the creators are changing things up and making the world bigger in new ways. For one, the way the infection spreads is changed from spores to fungus, so the actors don't have to wear masks in some of the scenes. Not to mention, fans are also especially excited for the much talked about episode about Bill and Frank, whose relationship is only shown in the game through environmental storytelling, a note, and Bill's reaction to it. It's exciting to move away from Joel and Ellie's story to tell another one in this universe, which the game wouldn't be able to do. When a popular book or movie is turned into another form, the story doesn't have to be told the same way. In this case, the writers and producers had to fit a 15-hour game into a 10-hour season, and all we have to tell you is that they succeeded. Do you think HBO has adapted The Last of Us to perfection? Let us know in the comments below. See you at the next one.